We are live. Good afternoon. Today is Friday, October 23rd, 2020. Today, we are going to unbox the new iPhone 12 and talk all about how much we love it because this is the iMore Show. Joining us today is iMore Show's expert therapist, Georgia Dow. Welcome to the show, Georgia.
Woo!
And let's
Thank
get
you
into
for
it with
having me.
Joe Keller, assistant managing editor of the iMore Show. Show us what you got, Joe.
I got this.
All right.
I got
So
this.
for anybody
What can you
listening, not
explain that?
watching,
What is this?
No.
describe it to the listener, not watcher.
Yeah. So I have in my hand a box containing an iPhone 12 Pro in Pacific Blue.
Pacific Blue.
I am so happy.
All right. So as Joe unboxes it, we will help describe to the listener. I know this isn't as exciting. We won't take too long on the unboxing part. For anybody watching, though, this is great. This is the first time we've actually had the opportunity to unbox an iPhone live on the air on the day that the phone came out. So it's pretty exciting.
And, you know, it'll take less time because there's a lot less box.
It's
look
so
how thin
small.
it is. Yeah. Show the side of it again. So the box itself is like maybe
1 3/4 inches.
Yeah. So it's probably reduced by about a quarter of its original size, maybe a little bit more than a quarter of its original size. Yeah. So what's inside that box?
So inside this box, first, we have to we can ASMR this. So we have.
As you do that, for those that are listening, Lori has just ran out of the room. Perhaps it was a delivery. Perhaps we may be doing 2 unboxings. I don't know.
Could be.
It could be, which is kind of exciting. Joe, how was taking off the packaging?
So one of the things.
Did she get something? Let's see your face. Wait a second. She's smiling.
Hugely disappointing. Hugely
it was
disappointing.
not.
I am
Okay, we were
expecting a
thinking.
package.
No, well, that's also awesome, but no, we were hoping it might be a double.
I know, I was hoping that too.
A double unboxing. Oh well.
So, so one of the things that I've appreciated about Apple's packaging, especially in the last few years, is that it's really easy to unwrap. They've got those easy pull tabs, and it just comes off. I didn't rip anything. It's all one solid piece that I can just throw into the recycling.
Can I just tell you that it took me a while to actually figure that out. I kept trying to just unfold something and was like, why does this keep sticking? And then I would look on the back and see the tiny little green arrow or whatever. Like, oh, well, that's why.
If this were olden times, I would have had a click of a knife to cut open all of the packaging, but
I'll
don't
make
have
the
to do that
noise
here
for you. That's the sound of a knife to me.
So we've got the box unwrapped and we open the box.
Ta-da!
In the box,
sitting right on top
is the
back side of the Pacific Blue iPhone. Okay, so that basically just in the box, it just kind of looks like space gray.
A little bit, but so
it's a dark box.
Yeah, it is a dark box. It's a weirdly lit room. But
show us again. Okay, so off to the side when you get that angle going in there, it like the Apple Watch in blue. It's like it almost just looks like black or gray, but when you get that right angle, that's where you see that color in there. Yeah.
And I gotta say, it's a really nice color. I would have still preferred the blue that you find on the iPhone 12. But I do think the Pacific Blue is really nice. And actually, this is a sort of personal milestone for me. Ever since I've been getting iPhones, I've also always gotten what you might call the default dark one. So black and then space gray. And this year that would have normally been graphite, I guess. But
you went with an actual color.
Actual color.
Yeah.
Even though Apple doesn't provide many actual colors to the Pro line of phones.
Yeah. All right. So Yeah, what else is in the box there? Show
So
us a little
so
more.
we'll gently put down the phone, and
Gently.
in the box, the only other two things is we have the power cable, a USB-C to Lightning power cable, and the documentation. Now, the documentation in the past has been box-sized, basically. It's been
Right.
as big as the box.
Yeah.
But
They
now,
shrink that down.
the documentation and single sticker. Way
Used
to
to be a
cheap out,
double
Apple.
sticker. Used to be a
No.
double sticker.
They're really just cheaping out on the stickers. You got the SIM removal tool.
Oh, Lori's escaped again.
Oh no.
Could this be we do
Oh
a
no, she
double
got out.
unboxing? Or is it cookies or something from someone?
And then we have very tiny documentation, basically.
It's really
4 pages.
tiny. It's
Yeah,
only, it doesn't fold out anymore.
and it's mostly safety information. Which always good to have if you're going to document something.
Oh,
Document safety.
wait, she's coming back in slow.
She has a
She's
box.
coming back in slow. She's
Oh,
smiling. What is it?
I don't know. Let's find out. Joe, keep telling us what you've got.
So I just unboxed the documentation. It's very tiny. There's not a lot in there.
Does it say anything about air power? Remember how the last iPhone it said something about air power, and they're like then they canceled air power?
Yeah. So let's see. No, I see nothing about air power here.
Dang, too bad.
Although what I'd really love to hear about is Magsafe Duo, the Magsafe Duo charger.
Oh yeah, I know.
Because we don't have a date on that yet.
Yeah.
So that is the iPhone 12 Pro unboxing.
All right. So it's pretty exciting. The new iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12, completely new design, all the wonderful joys of this completely new thing. Georgia, did you end up ordering one? Did you decide to skip it this year? Are you going to wait for the Max or the Mini? You like the bigger, right?
Yeah, I do like the bigger, and I have to say all of the MagSafe stuff is very appealing to me.
Yes.
We shall see.
Yeah, that's so true. Even though the complete redesign of the iPhone is so exciting, I kind of feel like the real the real technological excitement this year is actually MagSafe related, not just the MagSafe charger itself, but all of the things that we'll be able to do with MagSafe with other third-party developers and things like that too, because Apple made this available to everybody. So if you want to be MagSafe certified, you do go through the MFi program. And I believe that what that does is it gives you that little animation on the front of the screen to show you when the phone is charging. But otherwise, all kinds of magnetic things can stick to it. And that, I think we talked about this last week with the excitement around all of the many things that we'll be able to do and use with MagSafe. So that is pretty exciting to me, even though obviously a new phone is more exciting than a charger. It's just the fact that there's this amazing technology that potentially is going to kind of change the way we charge our phones,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's all of the other stuff too, right? It's that excitement of what are the other possibilities that could happen.
Yeah. It's the potential for it. So Joe, one more time, show your phone on screen one more time real quick for a couple people that came late to the party and want to see it. There it is.
And also, just as an extra special thing for viewers, this is the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro. Yeah, so actually, this is what I find to be interesting. So Joe is actually holding the bottoms of them exactly flush, right? The iPhone 11 Pro is actually slightly
Is it slightly smaller or slightly larger?
It's slightly smaller. It's
smaller. Like
shorter.
This is the
that's
biggest.
the
Yeah.
tiniest bit, but it's slightly smaller.
Yeah.
Even though the screen sizes are technically the same, I think it has to do with like just flattening out those edges instead of round. It's like if you like flatten out a curve, it's going to be bigger. I found that to be very interesting too, that there's just, I wouldn't even say, maybe it's like a quarter of an inch, maybe taller.
Well, I mean, not even that. It's
yeah, probably
millimeters.
But what I think is very interesting, holding it in my hand now, the iPhone 12 Pro does not feel any wider.
Right.
Which I think is key.
Right. And for people who are thinking about getting, or who have ordered and still don't have it in their hand, the iPhone 12 versus the iPhone 11. So if you were not a Pro buyer and you went with the iPhone 12 or want to go with the iPhone 12, it's smaller than the iPhone 11 because it's thinner. So it is like literally the exact same size as the iPhone 12 Pro, to the point where like you can literally interchange cases for them. They're exactly the same size. So previously iPhone 11 was a little bit bigger than the iPhone 11 Pro. But this year the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro are exactly the same in the case size and everything. So, okay. So Joe just got done with his unboxing and now I've got my brand new extra special unboxing to reveal, which is the iPad Air 4.
Oh, I didn't expect that. Look at that.
Right? This is also available. They like that was
another. Now, do we want to do an ad in between, or do we want to go right to it?
Yeah, let's do an ad real quick. Okay, so we're gonna tell you about our sponsor, one of our sponsors for this week's episode of the iMore Show, and then we will get back to the unboxing. So let me get my notes out real quick. I wasn't prepared for that. I was so excited.
Sorry.
It's so exciting.
It is really exciting. I have to say, like when you get it, it's just such an exciting. Now, Joe, while Lori's getting that set up, did you get like any accessories for this? Are you casing it? What are the other things that you're going to be getting?
I have a red Magsafe case, silicone.
Can we see it? Can we have you it, because it's totally different. You it together.
Yeah,
it's a sound thing. That's a technical term.
Well, I don't know that this will actually, because of the silicone, but let's.
You have to also turn on your phone if you want to make the noise and stuff too. So.
Well, that see, okay, though that's weird. So it doesn't just pop in to a silicone case.
Really?
I mean, it's easy to get in, but it doesn't just, because there isn't the slightest bit of a lip on these cases. So this is the phone in the case.
Ooh, that's a nice color.
That's a beautiful color of red. What is this? This is the silicone. It's not the leather one.
This is the silicone, because the leather ones aren't available. Now, it should be noted, according to Apple, the leather cases that are like this, and I would also assume the pouch that they showed off at the iPhone event, go on sale on November 6th on Apple's website.
Wait, which things go on sale November 6th? I totally
so they talked about, so they don't have, so these sort of standard Apple cases, they usually have them in silicone and leather, but they don't have the leather ones available, and it's the leather ones that go on sale on the 6th.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it might, but I don't know for sure whether or not that includes that sort of pouch that they showed off during the event that you slide in, and it's in part of the MagSafe setup there, I think, is that it knows when the iPhone is in that case, and it displays the clock dimly.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's got a little cutout window.
Right. That's a pretty exciting little addition there too. I like that. I can't wait to see these things in live. I ordered my just the wallet, the card holder for my iPhone 12. I was able to order it right away, but I won't be getting it until, I think it was until like either late November or early December. So it's way far away. But it's to match the blue iPhone 12. So it's the yellow. I got the yellow. I can't remember what it's called, but it's yellow. on top of the blue. Oh my gosh, those primary
It's
colors
so
are just
pretty.
gorgeous.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be really pretty. Joe,
Mhm.
can you take the case off for us just so you can tell us? And for the silicone, there's no magnet on the silicone, the back of the magnet of the silicone
There
case,
is.
because there's also one? Oh,
Yeah.
because I was
It just
wondering if the
it
magnet
doesn't
on the
go
phone is
through.
strong enough that you wouldn't need it for silicone
Oh
versus you
yeah.
would probably for leather.
So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So uh, it's a little bit confusing until you get the phones in your hands. So there are magnets of some kind inside the phone itself. We know that. But it's not magnetic. You can't stick your phone to your refrigerator. You can stick the case to a refrigerator, but you can't stick the phone to a refrigerator. So the phone has no magnetic charge to it. It's in and of itself. It's not magnetic. So you can't stick it on anything metal, any steel or anything
Well,
like that and have it stick.
well, that's the thing. So part of the MagSafe setup. One second. So back here on the phone, there is, in addition to the magnetic coil and a little NFC coil, there's also a magnetometer that essentially waits to be interacted with by another magnetic field. And I don't know if it applies an extra charge, but it sort of it better directs the MagSafe magnetic field. So
Yeah, it probably helps like trigger some version of pulling it into attaching it or something like that. Yeah.
yeah, so and this is part of the MagSafe experience, which is why I think like official MagSafe accessories might be better off than things that are just magnetic, like just generic accessories that are just magnetic.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah. So then the inside of the silicone case and the inside of the leather case is probably the same. There is a little ring inside of it. So you can see that there's something in there, but it doesn't show on the outside of the case. But the clear case, which I'm sure a lot of people have seen this and are talking
Ooh,
about it,
love
that
it.
case has a very noticeable ring around it, which is like you can't hide magnets. So they had to do something. And
There are no clear magnets. But again, if you're getting the clear case, maybe you want the coolness of being able to see what's happening on the inside,
yeah, I
or
mean,
it might just look bad.
I think it just
Yeah.
depends. Like I personally, I love cases. I love all like using all kinds of different cases. I'm not really the kind of person that goes, "Ooh, that case is ugly." So having like a big
Really, even with the
white ring
humpback
on the back
charger
isn't really.
case, the
Yeah,
humpback one, you didn't go because I was like, That's ugly." I wanted
yeah.
it because I wanted the extra power, but I'm a case judger. I'll just say it. There we go. It's out
Well,
there.
so then you may not want a clear case for your phone then because or the MagSafe one for your phone because
Yep.
that is like there are people who like are actively think that it is an ugly case and why would anyone ever want to put that on the back of their phone? So there's that. So
On Apple's website, they actually, so yeah, that they have that particular combination on the website, and I actually think the white ring of magnets looks pretty good with the darker blue phone.
or the light blue phone.
I think that's a darker blue.
Well, I mean compared to the blue that you have. So
Oh yeah,
oh
yeah.
no, actually, you know what? We're kind of describing them slightly differently. The iPhone 12 Pro would be the lighter
Yeah.
blue because it's like a more subtle color. That
It's
makes
more of
sense.
an ocean blue. Yeah, that I
But
mean,
yeah,
hence the
like
name.
it actually looks kind of fun when it's on the back
Yeah,
of a blue color like that. It's kind of like a,
something kind
you know.
of collegiate about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Eh,
yeah.
eh.
It's okay, Georgia, you're not alone. There are a lot of people
There are a
who
lot of
hate
people
that
that
color, that
don't
or
like it.
the design, the clear with the big circle in the back. So you're not
Like,
alone.
I think they could have done something with it a little bit more
Well,
than just
I mean,
white.
I what?
Like, I know they can't go clear,
No,
but it could have been silver.
or maybe showing
It
off the
could
magnet.
have. I would have loved to see a little ring of little magnets. That would have been cooler.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like that it's white, because of the blue phone. If I was doing that on a with a black phone or a gold phone, it may not be as impressive to me, but on the blue, I kind of like the way those two colors
It's a nice contrast.
work together. Yeah. It's very collegiate, just like Joe said. So before we move on, let me tell you a little bit about Roman, who is one of this week's sponsors of the iMore show. Stumbled over my words right there. Girls and women are encouraged at an early age to get regular checkups in regards to our feminine health. I started seeing a women's health specialist the year I turned 18. I get checkups every year. And the older I get, the more checkups get added to my list. And this is all feminine care related, our privates, our girly parts, and things like that. And it's common, it's normal. We talk about it with our moms right away. It's okay to talk about it. But boys and men don't really get that same kind of encouragement. And sometimes they're maybe even a little ashamed of some of the health issues they might have, like erectile dysfunction. And it could have caused them to avoid seeking professional help. I think that boys and men should be able to feel just as comfortable about talking about men's issue as women feel talking about women's issues. With Roman, it is easy to talk about it because you can talk to a healthcare professional without anyone having to know about it. With Roman, you get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for ED from the comfort and privacy of your home. A healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, Roman will ship it to you with free 2-day shipping. The process is straightforward, simple, and discreet. You can start today by visiting getroman.com/imore to complete an online visit in the privacy of your own home. Erectile dysfunction doesn't have to go untreated. You don't have to suffer in silence. With Roman, you can complete an online visit to connect with a healthcare professional today. Go to getroman.com/imore today. And if approved, you get $15 off your first order of ED treatment. That's getroman.com/imore, getroman.com/imore. And thank you to Roman for being this week's sponsor of the iMore show. All right. We've got, Steve Perry mentioned something about putting the Apple sticker over the back of the case. That's so true. You could just like plop that right on there. It's good. Let's get into unboxing part 2. I'm super excited about it. Let's make this happen. So this is the iPad Air 4, which is also available today, right? It was available for pre-order at the same time. Did it ship the same day?
I
think so.
believe it did. It was weird because Apple didn't. I mean, they did an announcement on their newsroom, but they didn't have like a big. They didn't tell us at the iPhone event, which would have made some sense.
I know that was they sprung it on us. All right, so this is the graphite. Are they calling this one graphite or space gray?
Oh, that's a good question.
The space gray iPad. This is an iPad Air 4, but doesn't it look just like the iPad Pro?
As all iPads should.
I like all of Apple's products.
You see, and in that one, I like rounded, but I have to say for the iPad, like one is like, with the pencil fitting on it makes sense, but I like it being square, weirdly. Like I'm not holding it as much. It's going to be, with the keyboard. So you're not carrying it around. It doesn't bother me.
And for the record, Lori, that Apple calls that color space gray.
Space gray. So it's graphite on the phone and it's space gray on the iPad. Got it.
Graphite on the phone, watch.
So confusing.
Space gray. Yeah.
All right. And what's
2 out of 3
in
ain't bad.
this box? So there's the information packaging, which is huge, unlike the iPhone packaging.
And that seems, if you open that, there's pages to it, like pages and pages of information
like
on
actual pages.
Something.
And there might be information about the iPad Air 4, or I mean the AirPower. Yeah. So this is the support documentation that kind of gives you the ins and outs of how to plug it in and what to do with it and how Apple Pencil works with it.
How many stickers did you get?
Yeah.
There
should be at least 2.
Oh, wait, there's more in here. 2. It comes with 2 stickers. And they're bigger. They're much bigger than the iPhone sticker. That's normal, though. They're always bigger. So. Yeah. And there is this one is the cellular with cellular, so it does come with a little SIM remover, so that's included in the box for those who are getting one with the cellular included, and then the USB-C cable, right? the USB-C cable, and
Yep.
you know what is in this box? Something that's not in any iPhone box
Does it begin with a
anywhere
C
ever
and end
again.
with a harger?
USB-C wall charger.
Let's see it. Take a look. There we go.
Yep.
You
Oh,
get what Joe is denied.
Right,
what is
exactly.
that? Or what wattage is that?
It's
Is
a
it 20?
really weird shape. It is not the usual
It is
shape.
actually,
It's
this
a
looks exactly like the one that came with the iPad Pro.
Oh, does
Uh,
it? Okay.
yeah, so it's different than the iPhone charger, because, you know, it's elongated, but this is what
Yeah.
the iPad Pro one looks like, the USB-C cable. Excuse me while I put my glasses on to try to read what this says on here. Okay, so this is a 20-watt charger. So it comes with a 20-watt charger, not an 18-watt charger. So anybody getting an iPad Air 4 and an iPhone 12, be happy because it comes with a 20-watt charger. Because that is something that I also wanted to talk
Yeah.
about on this show before we're done, is the fact that fast charging for the iPhone 12, it requires a 20-watt charger. You cannot use I mean, you can use the 18-watt charger. We haven't done any real-time testing from the 18-watt to the 20-watt just yet. We will have that information. We'll talk about it next week on the iMore show, but it'll also be up on our website at imore.com, to the time comparison. So fast charging for the iPhone 12 is up to 50% in a half an hour, right?
I believe so,
That's
yes.
incredible.
Yes. And what's incredible is that the 18-watt charger doesn't do that, apparently. You don't get fast charging with an 18-watt charger. You have to have a 20-watt or higher charger for fast charging to work with the iPhone 12, even though the iPhone 11 supports fast charging with an 18-watt
18-watt charger.
charger.
Yeah.
What's that about?
So yeah, on Apple has a support document about this actually, and it lists
Mhm.
all of its various USB-C chargers, 18 watts to, I believe it's 96.
Mhm.
And all of them support fast charging, except you have a little note on that page, a little 2, and you scroll down and it says 20-watt charger required for fast charging on iPhone 12.
Yeah. So
Why the 2 watts?
again,
Apple?
I need to do some real-time testing on this, because maybe Apple is just kind of covering their butts and just, you know, we're not going to make promises with the 18-watt charger, but maybe it actually will charge just as fast. I don't know yet. And I haven't seen any official information that says, yes, we charged it, the 18-watt and the 20-watt, and they're completely different. We don't have that information yet. But it could be that. So it could be just Apple is just like, we're not going to make these promises. We're only going to make this kind of promise on the 20-watt charger with the iPhone 12. Or there's some kind of technology inside that iPhone 12 that is like, we're not triggering fast charging until we are plugged into 20 watts or higher, which is odd. I think that would even be a situation. So, I mean, especially because like an 18-watt charger charges an iPad Pro just fine, not fast charging, but it charges it just fine. And it charges the iPhone 11 Pro fast charging. So 2 watts seems like that's kind of crazy that you can't, you know, make that same promise with an 18-watt charger versus a 20-watt charger. So
Maybe
I
it's
don't know.
something about the A14 and how it distributes power. I
Could
don't
be
know.
the A14 chip. You're so right. And that's like, you know, a little bit of additional technological information. The A14 charger, or the A14 chip, has new processing speeds in it. There's also, you know, 6 gigs of RAM in the iPhone 12 Pro. Maybe, you know, there's some limits on processor speed that require a faster watt or stronger wattage to speed that up.
Yeah. We'll have to really dive into that to be sure. I'll have I bought my phone on the iPhone upgrade program, so I'll have to eventually turn my iPhone 11 Pro in, but I think I'll devote some time to some testing this weekend.
Joe, talk a little bit about the iPhone upgrade program this year, as compared to previous years. I know you can't go in and trade your phone in. How does that work now, and what can people expect?
So it's a little different for me this year because I've been So this is my third phone that I've gotten through the program. The first one being the 10S. And both of the previous phones that I got through the program, I went into the Apple store to pick them up. So I would bring my current phone into the Apple store and get set up on my new one. I'd wipe my old one. I'd turn it in. This year, I'm getting when you order your phone through the program for delivery, they will also send you an upgrade kit or a turn-in kit. So
Okay.
if you've ever done Apple's trade-in program online, it's a similar kind of thing where they will send you an empty box that has some instructions with it and a label. And so this is gonna arrive for me. I just found out this week. This is gonna arrive next week, between the 27th and 29th of
Okay.
October. So
So they're sending out new phones to people before they're sending the boxes for return.
yeah,
That's a good thing because I think if I received an empty box before I received my phone, I might be just mad at Apple. I can't send you my phone yet, even though that's not what they're expecting. I would
yeah,
feel that anxiety, you know?
yeah, and
Right.
and also, I would they will send you an email notification well ahead of time to let you know, please get this in. So for me, it's by November 9th.
Oh,
So you
that's plenty of
have,
time.
yeah, I have a few weeks
To
Yeah.
get set up,
to get set
to
up,
see,
make it, yeah, see what's what, and
make
then
sure you
send
have
my
a
old phone
proper
in.
backup, which
Yeah.
someone was asking in the chat room about, the process of when you're getting your new phone from when you have your old phone to make sure that you're backed up properly. I have been too excited and forgotten, and I have lost a set of photos. I've done it. Now
Mhm.
I don't. I know because I back up all the time. But at the time, I didn't. Um, so if you're not backing up or you're not on the cloud, there is a risk. Like you should make sure you back up. Lori, could you go through it kind of quickly and then tell? Like there'll be a link in the show notes, I would assume, also for everyone that do this.
Yeah, in fact, iMore just today and throughout this week, we published dozens of articles about what to do with your new phone, whether you're a previous phone owner or brand new to iPhone for the first time, whether you're transferring data from an old phone or starting from scratch. So just go to imore.com homepage and you'll find a bunch of that information. But yeah, so what um what you want to do, I guess, if you are transferring your data from your old phone to your new, there's 3 different ways that Apple lets you do that. So you can plug your phone into your desktop, your like if it's your Mac, and you can use your backup from your Mac if that's the way you do it. Some people still plug their phones into their Mac to back it up. So you can do that. That's like one of the fastest ways to do it because it's just straight from one device to another transfer. You can use iCloud. So if you back up your phone in iCloud, which a lot of people do that now, I switched over. I used to back up my phone on my computer. I switched over to iCloud. It actually ends up being really convenient for me. It does take a little bit longer, but still not that long. I think the key is having good Wi-Fi in that circumstance because your
Right.
Wi-Fi is going to be grabbing however many gigs, 60, 80, 120 gigs of a backup to go from your old phone to your new. Actually, it's more like your backups are usually only about 4 gigs, so it's not crazy, but you definitely want to be on good Wi-Fi. And the third method is transferring directly from one iPhone to another. So you can actually plug in, if you have the right cables, an iPhone to an iPhone. Joe, you have done this. Can you talk a little bit about it? Because there's a little bit of information that we didn't actually know until recently
Well,
about like
see,
what you need to do that.
that's the thing. I've tried to do this before, but I was missing this essential piece of information. So, this direct device to device data transfer requires this monstrosity of a kit.
So, okay, so what
I
what
will break it
exactly are
down.
you holding there, Joe?
So, first, I am holding a power adapter,
A big mess of stuff.
a
It's a
power
lot of stuff.
adapter
Okay, we got the
with
power adapter.
a USB-C to lightning cable. So or a USB to lightning cable. This happens to be USB-C. You need at least a 12-watt adapter to do this.
What would happen if you didn't have a 12-watt adapter and you tried to do this? Nothing?
It wouldn't work.
It just wouldn't work. Okay.
So,
which is kind of good to know, because I'd be like, what if it fits in? Like, it's probably gonna. And no. Okay.
So yeah, the device-to-device setup, they call it quick setup, also works over Wi-Fi. This is that setup feature that where your new phone, or no, your old phone, no, it's your new phone has a little,
next to each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has the little, like, the swirly QR code like thing that you have to scan, and then it'll transfer the data, like your accounts and stuff. So it's the adapter, the power adapter, and the lightning end of the power adapter is connected to this. Now this is the USB this is the USB 3 camera to lightning camera adapter for iPhone and iPad.
Okay, so it has a lightning on top, so the lightning will go into the phone, and then
this goes into your old phone, your current phone, however you want to think about it, but the one you're getting rid of.
Yeah.
This plugs into that, and then this lightning port is the power adapter. This USB-C or USB-A is a USB-A to lightning cable, and you need USB-A to lightning because that's the port it's got.
Got it. Yeah.
And then that plugs into your new phone.
So, you see, that already is a little bit, I'm like,
yeah,
maybe not.
It's a little excessive in terms of the amount of power that you need. Not
and the amount of stuff you need to already have.
Yeah.
To be able to do this.
And the step I was missing previously was I was not connecting this to power. I only had the camera connector and then the USB-A to lightning, and I was trying to do it that way, and it just never worked. And I guess we missed the instruction, or Apple didn't put it up there. You need to connect it to power. It needs to stay connected to power. So USB to lightning, power charger, plugged into the camera adapter. This solution was made for me, and maybe only me. It's convoluted. It requires a kit. This is exactly
a kit that you have to specially buy.
Well, see, that's the thing. I just had this stuff because I'm me.
Okay, you already had everything. Right.
Well, actually, just any kind of adapter at all that Apple puts out, he just buys it even if he doesn't need it.
Most adapters. I don't have any of their USB-C dongles because I don't have a USB-C MacBook. So I don't.
Yeah, I think I have I have a dongle kit. Like I have all of the somewhere I have the dreaded set of like doohickey dongles for converting everything to everything somewhere, but who knows where they put these things. Yeah, so that's the way I'm not using.
Yeah, and there hasn't been a lot of opportunity for me to try to take advantage of this because it only came out with iOS 12.4, which was
so it's
last year.
Yeah. So have you actually done it yet? How much faster is doing it device to device than it is doing it from not wired device to device?
So I haven't. This will be my first time trying it with my my iPhone 12 Pro. So
we'll find out. We don't know yet.
Maybe we'll have a little rundown of that experience next week.
Yeah. I'd love to know, because I find the device to device setup is so smooth and convenient, and the only part that isn't awesome is that it's slower. So I wonder if device to device wired is going to be faster. So that's just an interesting one to do. So, but that would be
a really interesting one to do, because then it'd be like, okay, well, this is going to take half the time. Now I'm suddenly like searching for dongles.
Yeah.
I'm dongling.
And it's worth it if that's true. Yeah.
And it would be worth it.
When you want to because you want to back up your device, no matter what, you want to back up your device before you do anything. It's just across the board. It's just what you should do. So however you back up your phone, if you back it up from in iCloud, just give it a quick manual backup. If you plug it into your computer, back it up that way. In terms of your photos, there's so many weird little complications that go along with like making sure that you don't accidentally delete all of your phones or all of your photos. But you want to make sure that you are backing up your photos in some capacity so that they don't just disappear, Georgia, like what had happened to you. So if you
Yeah.
have enough iCloud storage, go ahead and have the full photo backed up in iCloud, just to be doubly, triply sure that the
Always, yeah.
transfer was okay. You can even undo that once you transfer to your new phone and go back to only storing the full
On
size on
device.
your device. That's okay, but do a quick one so that it's backed up just to make completely sure. If you have a different way to back up your photos, like through Dropbox or something like that, go ahead and do that. Whatever you do to back up your photos normally, just give it that little kind of extra if you're worried that you might lose that in the transfer, just to be completely sure. I personally, I always store the full size photo in iCloud, so that's never an issue for me. But I've never had a problem with losing my photos. It's just I think sometimes the messaging about what it means to be storing photos in iCloud versus deleting it off your phone, it can be a little confusing sometimes. I've had a lot of friends who thought
Yeah.
that when they deleted it off their phone, it was still in iCloud. And I know Apple has this big pop-up message now that warns you about that, but that if you delete it off your phone, it deletes it in iCloud too. So you got to make sure that you don't make mistakes like that. So just like a backup is the most important thing in that circumstance. And then you have to erase the phone and turn off Find My. I also recommend signing out of iMessages manually, or is that on the Mac? Actually, I don't think you have to sign out of iMessage manually, but you do have to sign out of your Apple ID, sign out of Apple ID, do all of those things, even though erasing the phone more or less it erases all of that. Just do it. It makes life a lot easier for you when you're like, setting up your new phone.
Yeah.
You might still have like, your Apple ID is still attached to this phone that you erased. Why is that? So if you remove your Apple ID from your iPhone before you put it in the box, it just kind of makes it easier. Otherwise, you have to go to the website and click manually, or like you have to click that you are no longer registering that Apple ID to that phone. So those are the little
Yeah.
tips and tricks for that.
And the same thing, Lori, if you're going to be giving your old phone to a friend or someone else, make sure you've gone through everything and make sure that you've changed the Apple ID.
Yeah, if you are selling this phone to a stranger, be
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
very,
good
very
one.
sure that you have turned off everything. You want to disable password, you want to delete your fingerprint or Face ID, not for your protection as much because the phone gets erased, right? But if something happens and this new person can't get into their phone,
Yeah.
I get questions about this all the time, that people received a device that wasn't properly wiped and they bought it, third party off of eBay or something
Yeah.
like that. They can't get into the phone because it still has
I
the password lock on it.
Yes,
So
I've had that happen when I gave someone one of my watches, the Apple Watch, and it was still connected to one of the iCloud accounts that I then
mhm.
had to figure out which iCloud, because I hadn't used this watch in a long time, had to figure out what it was, had to go online. And this was luckily a friend of mine. If I had sold it,
Right.
right, this would have been a nightmare.
And the fact
And
that
they couldn't,
your iCloud, this doesn't ever happen anymore, but when iCloud was kind of brand new, you'd hear about people whose someone else's pictures were showing up on their phone
uh,
because it was still signed into an old Apple ID and their
right.
iCloud photos were showing up. So yeah, again, that doesn't happen anymore. That all those little kind of weird issues have been worked out. But yes, definitely, um, just especially if you're selling your phone, do the little extra things to make sure that you have turned off Find My, you've disabled the password, you've erased your fingerprint ID or your Face ID. Just do it because it's going to make you and the person who bought your phone much happier.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
Do you think
let's
it's
see.
time for another ad?
I think it is time for another ad, and Joe Keller is going to be presenting our ad for the other sponsor for this week's episode of the iMore Show. Take it, Joe.
Baby's first ad read. So today's show is also sponsored by Keeps. Keeps makes it easier for guys to get treated for hair loss. As guys, a lot of us have our self-worth or our identity even tied up with our hair. So when we get into our 20s and 30s and start to notice the first signs of hair loss, we might start to go into panic mode because no one's ever really ready to go bald. But you don't have to panic because of Keeps. Now there's Keeps. It's a simple and easy way of keeping your hair. Generally, you would have to go into a doctor's office and get a prescription for hair loss treatment. Keeps instead lets you do this online. You can have an online appointment with a doctor. They can set a prescription for you, and Keeps lets you get this medication through the mail, delivered straight to your home. Medication is delivered once every 3 months, and the medication delivery plans start at $10 a month. It's important to stay on top of hair loss if your hair is important to you. And it's important to get on top of it early because 2 out of every 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they hit 35. Getting out in front of it while you still have your hair is the best form of prevention. Since Keeps treatments generally take between 4 and 6 months to see results, you'll want to act fast. iMore Show listeners can get the first month of treatment free by heading to keeps.com/iMore. That's KEEPS.com/iMore to get your first month of treatment free. Thanks to Keeps for sponsoring this episode of the iMore Show.
Excellent job, Joe.
All right.
You are going to get stuck doing the ads from now on. Not that doing the ads is something to get stuck with, by the way. I actually enjoy doing the ads. I just I like that I have a little help. That's all. Can I show you all one more thing that I just
Oh,
unboxed
yes.
while we were on our sponsor break? Product
Yes.
red
Ooh.
braided.
I
Oh,
have.
oh, that is a beautiful, beautiful
That's
Love
red.
a
it.
nice
That
red.
is
I was
such a
worried that it was
pretty.
going to be too orangey because
No, I thought it
the
was much more orangey. This is
look at
beautiful.
this is the
No, love it.
orangier, just the standard silicone band, not the loop,
Yeah.
but the braided loop is a gorgeous red color. Look
I
at that.
have ordered that for myself. I'm not supposed to get
Can
it
you
until
stretch it
December.
again for me, Lori?
Yes, I will stretch it.
Oh,
Gumby.
that's like those those old toys that you could like just keep on stretching for. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. But
What's
you
that,
just
Mr. Stretch or
Stretch
what's the name of
Armstrong.
it? Stretch Armstrong. Thank you.
yes.
Heavily
So yeah,
advertised during my childhood.
I just felt like I had to share that with you because it just came to, and I'm very excited about it. It's gorgeous.
I think the braided it's this braided solo loop, is that what they call it, or is it just braided loop?
I think it's solo braided loop.
Yeah, loop is last.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
either braided solo or solo braided, but loop is
yeah,
last. I
yeah.
think that's one of my favorite new bands to come out in years.
Yes.
The
Yes,
the
I'm
the
with you.
sport the solo loop, basically the sport version doesn't really. I mean, I'm sure it's fine, but it just looks like it would be kind of uncomfortable to wear. Just the sport version, but the braided loop,
Yeah.
that's my kind of thing.
My guess is that the sport loop, the one that's made of silicone, it's probably super comfortable. It probably
Oh yeah, it's
feels the
probably
same.
fine.
It's pretty comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
it
it?
looks
So
pretty comfortable, but this
Yeah.
looks, because you don't even have to, like, you don't, I have to Velcro mine and I adjust it. This is just, you just it onto your arm
Yeah.
and then you can just pull it off.
Yeah.
And so people with mobility issues, people that may have, arthritis in the fingers or like difficulty with that, every single thing that you're doing, every movement, this becomes much easier and it's not going to fall off.
Mhm.
And so, Lori, tell me about the comfort of this.
Yeah, so it's, for one thing, it's very, very comfortable. The braided loop is, just like Joe said, it is the most comfortable watch band that Apple has ever made. And that's coming from the sport loop, which was really, really comfortable. So Renee would call the Sport Loop the yoga pants of Apple Watch bands. If that's the yoga pants of Apple Watch bands, the loop, the solo loops, at least the braided solo loop, is the sweatpants of Apple Watch bands because it's even more comfortable. It's just a nice, like, just snug enough kind of fit. It's loose, but not too loose. Here's the thing. I would not be able to sleep with an Apple Watch on if I was using any other band, third party or regular. This band makes it so that I sleep with my Apple Watch on every night and I don't even notice that it's on. It's so comfortable. It's amazing. It doesn't leave, like, you get that sort of imprint on your wrist from wearing your Apple Watch all day. You don't get that imprint. Like, I've had this Apple Watch on like almost nonstop, and there's no imprint on my wrist right now from having it been on just like almost 24 hours. I take it off for about an hour a day while I let it recharge. I do my morning workout or whatever and take a shower and I put it back on. That's it. That it's on my wrist the rest of the day and that it's that comfortable. So it seems $100 seems like a lot to spend on a braided solo loop, but I would say one of them is absolutely hands down worth it for the comfort level. So
Yeah.
save up your money or ask for it for Christmas because
It's one of
a
those
life
things
changer.
that, it really will make your life easier. It's
Mhm.
comfortable if you're wearing it at night.
Mhm.
It's, sitting with you. The only thing I would ask is if you're sweating, and I think that this is the difference between the braided versus just the silicone. But if you're sweating, I would assume, or working out, I'm assuming that the braided would be more comfortable and less holding of the water underneath.
Yeah, I mean, I work out every single day and I sweat like a sweaty person when I'm working out, and I never notice anything about the watch at all.
Nice. Okay.
It's never a part of me and who I am. I never have to take it right off. I used to have to take it right off right after I worked out when I was using, one of the regular sport loops or the silicone band or something like that. I never feel like I have to take it off right after. Even when it gets sweaty, it doesn't feel sweaty. It doesn't feel wet underneath. um I would say when I wash dishes or do some other thing where I might accidentally like run water over the band, then it just feels like a wet band on your wrist, which isn't the most comfortable thing in the world. It's a cloth
No,
band,
no,
but
I hate
it
that.
also
Yeah.
dries really fast too. So I might get it wet and just be like, oh, ew, yuck. And then 10 minutes later, I didn't even notice anymore. So it doesn't dry that fast, but it dries fast enough that it's not that noticeable after a while. So yeah, very comfortable. Definitely recommend the braided sport
Well,
loop.
now I'm
And
really
I
excited
had
for mine.
yeah, I don't have experience with the silicone solo loop, so I can't speak to how comfortable that is, but I can say that the braided one is
I've
absolutely,
tried on Renee's because I was hoping to steal it.
of course.
It was it's true. Not even joking, really. I put it onto my watch. I'm not even kidding. He's busy.
He
He's
won't
doing
notice.
his show, and I'm like popping it onto my, which I always do to him. I just pop it on. They fit, even if they're not the same size, they will actually fit onto it. A little bit sticks out on the edge. You won't really notice. That's fine. So I'm like, I'm taking this, and so I'm putting it on. It was too big. It was too big, so he
Right,
gets to
because
keep
you have to
that.
get
He
them
probably doesn't
cut
even know. He's probably watching now and does know.
and does know now. He's probably
But
fuming,
it was
"Oh, she
too
was gonna steal
large.
it." Yeah,
He's
that's
too
another
nice. He
thing to
doesn't.
mention if you didn't already know
Yeah.
this, that you actually have to you have to
Oh,
size your wrist.
nightmare. You have to size your wrist, and they're trying to make it easier. But yeah, you have to size your wrist properly in order
There
to
were
have
some
one that will fit.
complications.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some complications for quite a few people that I know. They printed out the thing that Apple sends that has the, like, little, thing that you print, and it's size it to your credit card to make sure that you printed at the right size, and they measured their wrist, and then they got their, watch band, and it didn't fit. It was either too small or too large, depending on what the case was. So I would say do either do two things or don't even print out Apple's little wristband measurement thing because you can actually measure your wrist. You can take a tape measure and wrap it around your wrist and get the actual inch measurements, then type in the actual wrist measurements, including the fraction of the inch, into the tool when you go to get your sizing. It's right on Apple's website. Do that, because that's going to give you your wrist's exact size. It's not going to be something you printed out on a piece of paper and hope that it was the right size printed out. So get your exact wrist measurements. Use
Yeah.
Apple's tool. It will then suggest to you the size band that you should get based on your actual wrist measurement. So do that instead. That's my recommendation. Okay, we are getting close to the end of our hour here, but let's talk about something that is near and dear to Georgia's heart, which is AirTags again.
Trying to kill me. Yeah.
The
Go
same
ahead.
person, the same person who told us that AirTags are not coming till March, just told us today that AirTags might be coming as soon as the Mac event in November. Are you
So
excited?
You see, this is Lucy and the football, right?
I know.
I am okay. So how
Yeah,
much do you believe this, Lori? What am I? Should I even? Because when they opened at the last event, and I already knew, but I hoped when they had the briefcase, right, the silver
you were the
briefcase
one that opened and then
that
opened and then
opened and
opened.
it gets smaller, and there's a smaller briefcase, and then they open and it gets smaller, and I was hoping there'd be another smaller because I assumed AirTags are gonna they're not gonna be that big,
Right.
and it was just the small iPhone. But
Which
I
was
was
my
hoping that
joy,
it was your joy. I felt good for you,
but not
but it
so.
didn't outweigh the heartbreak.
Yeah.
I was really hoping, and the worst part, the saddest part, like, because everyone knew this is not happening, but I'm like, oh my God, could it be? This is the sound of me going
Oh
through,
no.
and then of course,
Wah,
no,
wah.
and it was just a will to hope. So go ahead, Lori. Should I
Yeah.
even?
Okay,
Should
so
I even?
here's this John Prosser, who was the one who originally informed us that we wouldn't be seeing it till March, just tweeted at some point this early this morning, all final performance testing for AirTags will be 100% completed on November 6th. This is from insider information that he has. The next thing, quoting, after this testing, products typically ship within 30 days. Sure looks like we're getting AirTags for sure at the November event. So this is new information from John Prosser, who
So
has had pretty good success rate, not 100% success rate, but pretty darn good. And especially from the iPhone 12 event, including the day that it was supposed to happen, he's been pretty good. So,
and I just want to say he also noted earlier this month that, I mean, essentially AirTags and what are the rumored AirPods Studio
mhm.
headphones have essentially switched places on Apple's calendar because of
Hmm.
apparent production issues with the AirPods Studio. And they were able to make that switch, which would be rare, I think, for Apple, but AirTags have been essentially ready for a while, is what we've been hearing. It's just not been the time, especially this year, you
Mhm.
know,
When people aren't going out as much,
and
there's not
to
as much
lose
of a
stuff.
reason to, yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
I also wonder how much of it may or may not have to do with the the ongoing issues that Apple is facing regarding antitrust and things like that, because Tile is one of the companies that has spoken out loudly about the difficulties of being able to keep their business going if Apple does release its own product that's got more integration with it. So they may have also been kind of holding off to find out how that
Where that goes.
hearing goes, like where
Yeah.
that goes.
So that seems kind of anti-competition also, which
Not
I think,
not releasing it at all.
well, yeah, them saying, well, you can't do this because yours will be more popular. And I do get the integration part. I think that they have some weight to that,
Mhm.
but competition is good. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I definitely don't disagree with these companies that are making these claims against Apple. I I do think that there's a lot of, let's take a look at what's happening and let's make sure that companies are being protected. Let's make sure consumers are being protected. So, um, I'm kind of standing on the outside on this, and not trying not to be judgmental, because I think Tyler is a fantastic company, and they've really just like come out of nowhere and become like superstars in terms of device tracking things. But I also, I'm all Apple. So anything that Apple puts out, of course I'm going to get it.
And we trust a little bit the security and the privacy of where are you going to be? Where are my children and my pet? I'll be honest, I don't really care about the privacy of my pet, but I guess so, because it's also been with me. I would trust Apple more than a third-party developer in this case, because it's so location-based to where myself and my loved ones are. And the worry of if, whatever, you have a horrible breakup, or, you're a government official. I think that that's a big deal where, who's going to be storing this, how, and how secure is that going to be?
Yeah. And the bigger Apple gets, the more complicated these kind of antitrust things become, because, the governments are looking at this saying, are you now being unfair because of how popular you are?
Now, there's one more thing on AirTags. It was either early this week or late last week. Can't quite remember. There's another leaker who has also been fairly reliable. This is a Twitter user known as Love to Dream, who indicates that there's going to be not one, but two sizes of AirTags, like a smaller one and a larger one.
So the small one maybe for your iPhone or your keys or your wallet, the larger one for or a case, and the larger one for your MacBook or your iPad or something big.
Well,
like
I would
that.
assume that they'll have a larger range, right? The larger AirTags might have a greater range.
Larger range, longer battery.
And then, exactly. So that could be maybe for your car, for something that you're going to want to have that might, or for your children. I know this sounds horrible, but if they're going to be, going out, I know it sounds wrong, but we will, let's just you want to make sure that your loved ones are safe, and they're going to be, you want to make sure that battery power will last longer. You want to make sure that the range of it would be, further. And so I wonder if that's also a point.
I think something like that, like a larger AirTag, would be even ideal for a purse or like a backpack. So a bag where you can just kind of throw it in, and it doesn't really matter where it is as long as it's in the bag.
Right. It doesn't have to attach to anything. It's not going to be ugly. It's just at the bottom of a bag somewhere.
Yeah, and it'll still be fairly thin and light, so it's really not going to disrupt anything else in your bag.
Right. Will it be Magsafe compatible?
This is the question. I wouldn't be surprised if everything that Apple releases, like be they AirPods charging cases or AirTags, I wouldn't be surprised if, except for iPads and probably, sadly, Macs, would be in some way MagSafe compatible. I tried to create a new product range.
Yeah, please don't. I don't want MagSafe to be called AirSafe. Please take back what you just said.
What would that even be? Who knows?
AirMag. Yeah. The only thing is it then might stick to stuff you don't want it to stick to. That would be the only thing with it being magnetic, is that you wouldn't want it to suddenly, whatever, you walk by something else and now it's stuck to your refrigerator. Because you probably know where your refrigerator is.
They're just drawn to your refrigerator. You're opening the door to get a soda, and now you can't.
Right.
I can't.
Though a hole, like Apple, you could drill a hole in that baby for us, please, so we can attach other stuff to it.
Right. You want to hang a keychain or like a carabiner or something like that, right?
You want an option to be able to. You can stick little tiny rubber plugs on the ends. So if you don't want to and you want to keep the aesthetic, I'm all good with that. But I don't want to have to buy a little tiny pouch. And that just seems, I don't know, rude.
Excessive.
To have a little pouch.
Especially if Apple is trying to, reduce their environmental footprint, having
no one believes that.
People get a case. Having people get some kind of additional case or bag for it is just adding more to the environment. So give us everything we want, by the way, Apple.
Just everything.
Now,
including MagSafe back on Macs. What?
Yeah. What? Oh yes. I charged up my old Air, and it's sitting in the corner there. Charged it up. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, we
great.
don't get that anymore. Although, I don't know, we're getting a new Mac of some kind probably in less than a month, so maybe there'll be a Magsafe on there. Maybe. You know, if there's ever a time to completely redesign something from scratch so it looks different and has everything new and different, why not make it a Mac, an Apple Silicon Mac, right? Start over. Give us back our Magsafe.
Give it back.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yep.
All right, it has been more than an hour. Thank you, everybody, for paying attention and sticking with us. We just had so much fun today and had unexpected unboxings, 2 of them, because we did not wake up this morning thinking we were going to be doing any kind of unboxing on the show. So, really excited. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Thank you to everybody who joined us live today. It was really great to see all of you talking about all of the fun stuff. And yes, November 6th is the morning that I will get up early to order my mini. So yeah, everybody that is ordering a mini or a max, we're all in it together. So we didn't have to do it this last week, but we will be doing it on
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today. Yeah. So very excited about that. Thank you to Jim Metzendorf, who makes us sound like kings and queens. We literally could not be a show without you because you do all of the behind the scenes work. So thank you for everything. I don't know how to put this on iTunes. So if it weren't for Jim, we would not be a podcast. So thank you, Jim. Really.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who listens later who aren't able to join us live, which, by the way, we do with this podcast live on Fridays at about 1 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. So, you know, just hit that like button and that bell gizmo so that you know whenever we're going live on YouTube. But the show is also available in all of your favorite podcatchers afterward, usually a day or two, sometimes that very same day, depending on how quickly we get our stuff to Jim. It's up every week for you, though. So if you don't get to watch us live on YouTube or watch us later on YouTube, you can listen to us on iTunes or any other podcast app. And thank you again for listening. We had a lot of fun today unboxing things. I don't even know what to do next week. Like, there's nothing else to talk about. I mean, iPhone, the end. Goodbye. It's just been that fun. And also, it's been the iMore show. So, iPhone, the end. Goodbye.